For those of you unfortunate enough to have witnessed the only other successful video on this channel, you know I'm something of an old school Mortal Kombat fangirl. So today I wanted to jump on the bandwagon like a month late and talk about my theories and hopes and predictions for the upcoming Mortal Kombat sequel, as well as defend the 2021 movie a little. I actually really enjoy Mortal Kombat 2021. I was fortunate enough to catch it in IMAX and it was a really great time. There's an earnestness to it that I feel is missing from a lot of similar films, and after a couple rewatches I got the distinct impression that there's a heart to this movie, despite its flaws, and to me that is commendable. It really felt like they were trying to put something genuinely cool out there, and they definitely didn't nail every aspect, but that's okay. As far as the sequel goes, obviously the big thing everyone knows about and is excited for is Karl Urban joining the cast as Johnny Cage. This was excellent casting in my opinion. I love him as Judge Dredd and as Billy Butcher during that brief window where The Boys was actually good. So I'm excited to see what he brings to the table here, even though it seems like he has a difficult time hiding his accent. We see him drinking when a fan approaches him, and we get the sense that he's a bit washed up in his career. He's approached by Raiden and Sonya, and let me pause here to mention a couple of things. First, I love that Raiden is wearing an outfit much closer to his classic design, and this, combined with some stuff we'll see later on, gives me the sense that we could very possibly see Raiden really get in on the action this time around. The second is that Johnny's role in this seems to differ from his game's counterpart. If you're unfamiliar with the games, Johnny Cage's origin story in the original Mortal Kombat is that he joins the tournament to prove to his detractors that he's the real deal as a martial artist. But here it seems as though Cage is like Cole, and his role as a participant is thrust upon him, making him something of an unwilling champion. But I don't necessarily hate this change. It could make for some really fun moments. I'll go ahead and mention, since it's most noticeable here, that I'm loving the soundtrack they've used. It's got this mystery and intrigue to it that I feel like gives it a pretty unique feeling, the trailer does at least. We get to see a full-on shot of Kitana, of course, which we've seen before. She's opening her fan blades before fighting Johnny, and she pulls this sick move where she kicks her hovering fan blade in his direction. We see Shao Kahn in all his evil glory, cutting this poor sap's hands clean off, and I'm with the majority opinion here that this is likely King Jared, the guy who ruled the realm of Edenia before being killed by, well, Shao Kahn. As an aside, I've always found it really funny that King Jared's only significance to the Mortal Kombat lore at all is dying. Like, we know next to nothing else about this guy. There's a cool throwback here to the Portal stage. We see a returning Kano as well as Cole, which brings me to a newcomer to this film, Jade. I've seen people online complain about her being bald, but like, honestly, who cares? Everything else about her is spot on, and these movies have never shied away from trying different things, so it's not a problem for me. We see Jax and Jade fighting. I can't quite make out what's happening here yet, and we get a shot of Raiden lying prone on his back before seemingly awakening. Kind of what I was alluding to earlier about him potentially fighting. This shot is super interesting because here we have Liu Kang summoning a hell of a lot of fire and pelting Shao Kahn with it, who is bracing himself for impact. This could be close to the end of the film, maybe the final fight or somewhere whereabouts, and if you'll pardon the pun, Liu Kang is definitely at least bringing the heat. Something I'd like to see is maybe the final fight against Shao Kahn as a group effort amongst the main cast, everyone taking shots and the Emperor swatting fools away like flies, that kind of thing. And maybe the actual final one-on-one comes down to Shao Kahn and Liu Kang, but it's all speculation at this point. We see Johnny Cage fight Baraka, and I like Baraka's design for the most part, but the teeth seem a little off, but it's not really a huge deal. Baraka calls Johnny annoying, and we get a throwback to one of Baraka's classic moves, the Blade Spark, though here it looks as though he's sending out actual bone fragments his opponent's way. Next is Jade fighting Kitana in a forest, maybe the living forest, but Kitana is using an unconventional weapon by deflecting Jade's bow staff with the ribbon that holds her hair. This feels kind of like a 70s kung fu movie or a Jackie Chan flick from a few years later, where makeshift weapons were utilized all the time, so I'm here for it. Jax seems to disappear or be teleported somewhere, I have no idea. Something else I have no idea about is what any of this is, Maybe a meeting with the Elder Gods, maybe those are the Kamidogu, maybe it's something entirely unrelated. There's no way to tell at the moment. Then a blink and you'll miss it moment where Sonya is fighting who is undoubtedly Sindel, with Sonya's energy rings playing tug of war with Sindel's scream. Sindel's inclusion specifically alongside a comment Shang Tsung made in the first movie.
Next time I see you, I will not bring fighters. I will bring arms.
Makes me think they're probably going to combine large parts of the plot from the second and third games, kind of like Annihilation did. We see Hanzo Hasashi, not Scorpion, so this might also be a flashback. Shao Kahn walking down steps very intimidatingly, and the moment of the whole trailer.
It's showtime.
And finally, what we've all been waiting for, Scorpion appears and pulls a really cool move where he's essentially using his spear for mobility. He lands, throws dual spears into Noob Saibot's chest, and we get the classic
Get over here!
where he pulls Noob's shadow clone out and splits him right down the middle, full-on fatality style. Badass title drop, Shao Kahn delivers a classic line with Finish Him, some Kung Lao action, and a moment I was freaking out about is when Kitana runs her spinning fan blade up the front of Shao Kahn's helmet, sending sparks flying. It was just so badass. Baraka stabs a guy in the head, and Kano is seemingly being held hostage by Noob Saibot, or at least the Shadow Clone. Johnny Cage gets involved, dropping a classic one-liner. And that's essentially the trailer, and man, I'm excited. A couple of last-minute things. Based on the fact that she fights Cage, Jade, and clearly the Emperor himself, I'm going to go out on a limb and say that Kitana is probably going to experience a similar character arc that she does in the games, being that she served as an assassin for Shao Kahn before defecting to the side of the good guys around the time between the transitions of parts 2 and 3. The lack of a new Sub-Zero obviously doesn't mean we won't have one, but it's not looking very likely. Not exactly something I'm happy about, but I don't feel like it would break my enjoyment of the film either. After all, it's been said that they're eyeing a trilogy of films for this series, so maybe we'll see Sub-Zero 2.0 later on. Are you as excited as I am? Who do you think is going to survive Mortal Kombat 2? And for that matter, who do you think won't? And on a final note, who's with me in thinking that this will likely happen in the movie?
Prepare to die. You will die, mortal. I will. Fatality.